Hello Accounting 101 students. In this video, we will go over how to access and complete your homework assignments in WileyPlus for this class. First, you're going to start off by going to the modules area of our course website, and you will click on the week that we are on. And in the assignments area, I have linked in all of the upcoming assignments. I highly recommend working on your assignments at least 2 to 3 days prior to the due date in order to allow time to answer any questions that you might have. For this homework assignment and for every homework assignment, there are 5 allowed attempts, and the points will vary for each homework assignment. For each chapter, we have a Part 1 homework assignment, which is an easier homework assignment for which you can look at the illustrations and examples in the textbook to assist you in addressing these questions. So first you're going to open your assignment, and you can see that the Chapter 1 Part 1 homework has 2 questions. The first question is a question that will ask you to classify accounts as assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, or expenses. So you will choose an answer from the drop-down menu. And once you have selected all of your answers, you're going to go ahead and submit answer. And you can see that if you have a correct answer, it will have a green box around it. And if you have an incorrect or incomplete answer, it will have a red box around it. And every time you submit answer, you're using one of your 5 attempts. So I highly recommend completing the entire problem and then submitting your answer. There's also an option to save for later, but it's good to go through the entire problem and submit your answer, get feedback for each question before you move on. The second question that we have here is utilizing some data that is being provided in the problem, and you're going to go ahead and identify each item in terms of its classification, and then you're going to complete an income statement. So for example, the income statement in this problem is going to be completed for the year ended December 31st. And you'll notice that it will say that my answer is incorrect if I had a previous attempt. And your income statement will report the revenues and the expenses for that period of time in order to arrive at the net income or the loss. Then you're going to go ahead and complete the information in each of these fields using the data given in the problem. So for revenues, I can see that this company has sales revenue of $581,700. So I'll go ahead and type in sales revenue and include in the dollar amount. This company also has service revenue of $5,500. And the numbers that you will have in your problem will be different than the numbers that I have displayed. Each student has different numbers for their problems, but the content is generally the same. So then you're going to go ahead and take out your calculator and add up the total revenues. For expenses, I will include in the cost of goods sold expense first. So the cost of goods sold is the cost of the products that are being sold. If you have a service company, you might not have a cost of goods sold account. The cost of goods sold account will be utilized more for manufacturing companies and retailers. I'm going to look at my data for the other accounts I have. I see salaries and wages expense. And I also see that this company has interest expense. So I'm going to include in the amount for interest expense. And generally for your expenses, you will include cost of goods sold if this company has cost of goods sold. And the expenses are then going to be listed generally from higher to lower in this introductory accounting class. You're going to add up your total expenses and include that amount in the field. And your net income is determined by taking your total revenues minus your total expenses. You need to make sure that you submit your answer. You can see that everything that is answered correctly is in green. Everything that is incorrect is in red. So for example, you really want to make sure that you pay attention to the fields. Your income statement is prepared for a period of time versus the balance sheet that's prepared as of a specific date. Also, you'll notice that I didn't complete in the fields for the total revenues, total expenses, and the net income. So this information is being highlighted. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of guidance in terms of how to submit your homework assignments in Wiley. One thing that I want to point out is when you're done with your homework assignment, it is important to go to the grades area of our Canvas website and verify that your homework scores have been reported. Thank you for taking the time for watching this video.